So, I recently got my dream camera. So I traveled far and wide for this camera, traversing many a terrain. It felt like many moons had passed. It feels like I've waited my whole life for this, like a smile was permanently painted on my face the day I received it. Okay, I really just traveled to the DHL truck, but I did get the camera of my dreams. Alright, so it's been about 2 months since I got the Mamiya RZ67. So I wanted to tell y'all about this straight away. Like, I was itching to get on here and blab about this camera because I was so excited about it. I am still so excited about it. But I didn't want to be too excited because we all know what happened to the Mamiya RZ67. Aww. And if you aren't hip, you can go back and look at some of those videos from earlier in the year. Honestly, because of all that happened with the RZ67, I was pretty hesitant to even continue on with the Mamiya system. Mostly because I was just super jaded by what happened with it. But I didn't want to let one faulty camera spoil it for the whole bunch. I really enjoyed the experience of making photos with the RZ67. I'm glad I ended up taking my time because within that time, an opportunity for me to get the RZ presented itself, which I was absolutely not expecting. It had gotten pretty far along in my research and I was ultimately deciding between the RB and the Pentax 6x7. But once that chance to get the RZ presented itself, I did not let that down. So that was the decision I had made. So now it was about researching the RZ67s. So some of the non-negotiables for me for getting an RZ67 were 1, it being in great condition, 2, it having an eye level viewfinder because that's what I felt I was missing from my RB system. The waist level viewfinder is fine, but I was really looking to try an eye level viewfinder. Number 3, it needed to come with the 110mm 2.8 lens, which we will get to because, oh my goodness. And number 4, I wanted it to come with multiple film backs so that I could test different film backs with the system. I found a listing that had all of these and much, much more. I got really lucky and I immediately wondered if it was too good to be true. I waited many years for the opportunity to get this camera, and when I say everything works seamlessly, I got so lucky. Everything works as it should. The meter on the eye level viewfinder works, which is pretty cool. I haven't tested it for its accuracy. I don't quite know how it works yet, but I think it's pretty cool that it has it, and if it actually works properly, that's a plus. First off, let's talk about the weight. It is a large, bulky camera, but I'm not anywhere near as scandalized as I once was with the RB. When I first got it, the shock has worn off. It's a heavy camera, but I'm used to it. It's not a problem for me. The images are worth it, and I carry it around wherever I need to, whenever I need to. I've got bags, I've got book bags, I've got a camera strap. We're good. The image quality is similar to the RB. I imagine it is leveled up at least a little bit, but it is similar, which I love. I love the images from the RZ67. It almost feels silken. There's just like a textural feeling to the images that feels smooth and buttery and just like delicious. I love it. That 110 2.8 lens though, is a beast. It's gorgeous, it's sharp at even 2.8. It's really impressive. You can get pretty close up. It makes some of the most beautiful portraits I've ever seen. It's worth all of the hype. Like everything I've heard about it, it's absolutely worth it. And I can't wait to do more with it. I wanted the lens specifically for portraits. And I've had a chance to make portraits. And yeah. Another plus with the RZ system is that you can use any of the RB lenses with it. That's pretty cool because a lot of the RB lenses tend to be less expensive than the RZ. Speaking of portraits, one of the first places I took this camera when I got it was to a Pride event in June, and I asked strangers for their photograph, and they said yes. It was such a dope experience. It was very nerve-wracking, but I left it feeling more confident and excited to do the same thing somewhere else. I cannot wait to make more portraits with this camera. Another thing I'm really excited about exploring is studio photography. I've been reminded time and time again, both kindly and unkindly, by people on the internet that this camera was made for the studio, or people mostly used it in the studio however many years ago. People still use it in the studio, which is why it's so heavy. That's why it's heavy. On a tripod. That's why you should. I'm aware. Thank you. Got it. You can save the comments about it. My choices are mine, and I'll carry this wherever I'd like to take it. You know what I'm saying? But I am excited to try it out in a studio space. I think that's going to be really cool when I am able to do so. Not only because of the price and it being time sensitive of having to test the camera, I had to get out and make a lot of photos with it to try to test it in as many situations as possible. So it led me to asking a lot of folks to do tests with me or to take a walk with me. I'm so stoked and excited about a camera that makes me want to use it. And because I, in particular, want to explore portraiture more, I need other people to do that. So it has sort of forced me to have to reach out to folks and connect with people, and that's been an exciting development with this camera. From the bellow focusing system to its modularity, its extreme versatility, the leaf shutter lenses, there's so many reasons to get this camera. The pros are plentiful for me and for many others, I guess, but there are also cons too. Depending on who you are, the cons may outweigh the pros. It just depends on what you're looking for with the camera. A con that I really wanted to address that was one of the biggest issues for me in my research is the electrical components of the camera. One of the biggest cons of this camera is the electrical components. It does require one battery. The camera does work without a battery in battery safe mode, but it only operates at 1/400th of a second, which is pretty limiting, but it does work without it, which I learned the hard way. I maybe shot a couple of rolls, 1 or 2 rolls without a battery before realizing there wasn't a battery in it. So check for your battery in your RZ. The electrical component of the RZ67 is a huge valid concern that a lot of people have had, I'm not completely free of this worry, to be honest. It's something I think about, have trouble with. I've seen people's cameras just conk out randomly in the middle of shoots. People talk about that, but that doesn't concern me enough to not get the camera. It's something that I'm choosing to not dwell on. I'm aware and I'll keep it in mind. However, I had an RB67 that is fully mechanical, meaning it worked without a battery, and it stopped working on me. I think some of the things about these cameras, vintage cameras, these cameras that are decades old, when they're ready to die on you, then they will. Things happen, and I hope that it's not going to happen to me tomorrow or anytime soon. Some things that I suggest when you get a camera, if you know someone or can take the camera to a store or hire a professional to do some extensive tests for you, to take a look at the camera, to get a professional opinion, I think you should go for it if you can. Another thing to do after testing it yourself or asking a lot of questions on eBay or wherever you're purchasing a camera is to get insurance. Insurance has saved me time and time again, including with the RB that I've been talking about in this video. I was able to get my money back when something died. I got insurance on this camera, and you assume all of these risks when you get an older camera. So I've assumed these risks, and I'm going to enjoy the camera while I have it and hope that it lives on to make photos for a very long time and further explore what 6x7 camera might work better for me than this. But I'm extremely excited about my purchase. I'm satisfied with it. I'm so happy about it. There is nothing better than a camera calling out to you and making you want to use it. That makes it worth every dollar to me. I do think at some point down the line, I may get another RB. I may not, I don't know. I would love to get another RB. I'd love to try out as many 6x7 cameras as I can in this lifetime. So these have been my initial thoughts on the Mamiya RZ67. If you can't tell, I'm in love with it. I love the camera. I'm so excited to create more photos with it, to make photos with people, to connect with people. And I hope that I'll be making photos with this camera for years and years to come. Fingers crossed. And I hope to share as many of those experiences as I can with you all. It means a lot that you watch this. You already know how I feel about y'all. If you have any questions about the Mamiya RZ67, please leave a comment below or anything you'd like to share about it. I'll answer to the best of my abilities, and I'll keep an eye out for answers I don't have just yet. I'm excited to talk to y'all about it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.